here to meet. I think we have almost 400 people here. It's great. So yeah, I came here and I feel so warm. People want to listen to the truth, the fact, the science, the things you are prevent from. So let me ask you one question. Now we have almost 400 people here, and we are listening something that's censored by some government people and some big guys and the mainstream media. I heard a lot of American separatists told me that America is no longer America I know, and quickly falling down. What can we do? So let me ask you, so if you imagine this happened in China, which is totally opposite to America, it's a communism country, how many people do you think would be in this event today for this topic? Great, you know zero, right? Because all of you will be chased back home, and they will surrounded all this place, and we will be in the jail. Yeah? So you see the difference. America is no longer the America you saw, but it's still America. But we need to stop America become China, and we want to change China to America. So the whole story, the pandemic, happened over 1 year and almost 2 years ago. Now everyone's used to virus. You are all forced to become the virologists, talk about the vaccine, treatment, and immunity, PCR, all these things, right? But why? Why it happened? And if you think about this 2 years ago, you may think this happened in a movie, right? And 1 year ago, when people told you that this may not come from nature, and they most probably will be labeled as misinformation. And I was labeled, I'm not still, by mainstream media, some labeled as conspiracist. But what can they do to argue with me? I call for the Chinese military scientists, civilian scientists, China CDC head, and WHO chairman, all these people, Fauci, Peter Daszak from EcoHealth. I call for all these people have open debate with me, has a live broadcast, whatever media, none of that dare come out. Dr. Fauci told you this is science. He is science. No, he is like the mid-age religion, standing there tell other people which is and only his religion. We know how dark it was. Now they want to take the science, turn the science into such mid-age religion. We cannot let it go. So let me tell you how the virus come from. So first, the virus not come from nature.
Write that down. I mean, you know that already.
Second thing is, Chinese people eat some wild animals, but we don't eat that. And there is no animal intermediate host transmit this COVID-19 virus to human. Instead, they made it in the lab to let it target human, and since we human get infection, we pass it to the wild animals, like the New York Zoo tiger. They are PT. And the third thing is, remember, this is from the lab in China, but not from one specific lab. You know it happened in Wuhan. You know the Wuhan, those virologists, they are not innocent, but they are not the only one. Even now, you remove that labs, there are numerous labs in China and in their partners' hand. They still can produce such virus and other related pathogens. So this is a plan by documents, by evidence, well documented, and to tell you this is for decades plan from Chinese Communism Party government and to develop to target human, target their enemies and primary enemies, and labeled clearly in their documents is America to achieve their goal as world dominance using communism People told me that Jesus told people remember two things. One is to believe the God. The other thing is love people. Communism told you another two things. There is no God and don't love people. Don't trust anyone. That's the totally opposite things. Why this virus come out? Okay, let me tell you the story back to January, even December 2019. 31st December 2019. I worked in the WHO reference lab, which means the surveillance lab for WHO for the world to see the emerging disease happen in such areas. I worked in that lab in the University of Hong Kong. That is a top quality lab in the world for emerging disease. We have a bunch of excellent experts. And that day, my boss came to me and asked me to do some confidential investigation about the Wuhan pneumonia. He told me that China government doesn't want anyone knows the news, and you have to be careful. If not, you will be disappeared.
Disappeared is what she said. If you missed it, you will be disappeared.
Physically or mentally?
Yes, physically or mentally. They have many ways to disappear you in China.
So I went through my own network because I finished my MD degree and PhD degree in different medical schools in China, and I have my own connection to the military and civilian network, even to China CDC headquarters office. So my information feedback quickly made me realize this is not something simple. And I reported it to my boss and the WHO experts. However, after half a month, still they keep quiet. And the second time they called me to the task. That is 16 January, and I got more information back. Together with my expertise in this field and all my understanding about Chinese Communist Party, I realized that things get worse and it's urgent. So I cannot trust those experts. I know they warn me I will be disappeared and no one can help me. That's their words. So they will sell me out. And I must find some reliable way to deliver the message out, even they won't disappear me, but the message is more important. And I managed to contact Mr. Muda because I listened to his broadcast and I know he's the one who is honest. So I spent 2 days, managed to using Twitter to contact him. It was lucky. It's the first time I used Twitter, and he usually had so many people deliver message to him, but somehow he told me that morning, my message became top in the mailbox. And when he read it, he decided to contact me. That's the beginning of all the things. Remember at that time, 40 cases in the world. No one would believe this is something worse than a local outbreak.
How many cases again?
I think 16 January, it was 47 cases.
End number 47.
Yeah, because it insists that zero increase for almost 10 days. And 2 days later, 18th January, because BBC at that time reported that, oh, China definitely didn't tell the truth, and China said, no, 62, no more. Period, like this. But since I delivered the message to him, show him the genome evidence. Genome is like fingerprint, so the virus gene can tell you everything. I show him that. I show him the intelligence. I told him I got this information from doctors, researchers, China CDC, the people who had the first hand information there, and I'm in the lab. They do more things than you know. So later he's convinced. And he takes huge risk to deliver all the 5 messages out. Let me tell you what they are. First, on 19th January 2020, he delivered it from his live broadcast. The first is China government was hiding out the things, cover up everything. Things get much worse than people thought. The second thing is there is human-to-human transmission. They know it back to December, but they didn't tell you. WHO denied it. The third thing is there is no animal in the intermediate host. And the Wuhan seafood market is smokescreen. The fourth thing is there will be big outbreak, even pandemic, if you don't control it in time, and there will be emerging variants circulating. Now you see what happened. The fifth thing, very important. Even now, most of people didn't quite understand that. The fifth thing is this virus comes from Chinese military People's Liberation Army. They have their special bad coronavirus they spend money, spend time, discover from Eastern China from around 2015 to 2017. They successfully got a twin-like virus, which they called it, one is ZC45, the other they called it ZXC21, and this genome you can check, they already published in the NIH Gene Bank. And they use this virus, which is not harmful to human, and do the gain function modifications. They add functions target human and release it to the neighborhood.
Did you catch that?
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah, so basically they have these natural viruses, they added the gain of function. Gain of function means making it more infectious. It can attach to people better, it can spread better. And they released it into the hood. They're like, hey, let's spread it and see what happens. These are our people, but we're going to experiment on them. So that's how it all began.
Yes, exactly, thank you. So, this is not conspiracy. This is clearly shown in the People's Liberation Army's documents. Not only one, but yes, there is one document which I have reviewed and sent it to people in your government, and Australian media sky, like the others, they have reported it. In that document, they clearly mention these things. You can verify it. It's written by a bioweapon expert in China. So they have told you all these things, like coronavirus is good to use to make the novel bioweapon, which I call it unrestricted because they have no restriction of the bottom line, no consideration of humanity. And then they said it has to be nature occurring, looks like nature occurring. And if someone tells you this is not from nature, what can you do? Tell people misinformation and deny it. So people will believe that. So, for make it get the best, optimize the whole virus after all this change, what can you do? Not only in the lab. They clearly mentioned that they had to find some place that 100% identical to your enemy's environment, and then try it here. So yeah, unfortunately that place happened in Wuhan. And it got out of control because they underestimate the high transmissibility of this virus. This virus gained so many functions, even better than they thought. So the thing is, we delivered the message. I was anonymously in Hong Kong, and he tell it. After 4 hours, because China government also watched this YouTube, and Xi Jinping's office got their own people do the notes. So they realized some people from inside this community deliver the truth out. So they are nervous. They are pushed to change their strategies. So within 4 hours, midnight in China, they admit that triple time of cases. It jumped to 198, and again, they admit it's not only happened in Wuhan, it's in other cities too. Within 24 hours, it's the first time in the world China government admit human-to-human transmission exists. That's very, very important. If not, this is not a big infectious disease. And also, 3 days later, Wuhan lockdown. However, China still managed to send people go through the flights all over the world because, again, in their documents, they have talked about, this kind of people has no symptom at that time, can deliver such passages by weapon all over the world. Yeah, that's what we have seen. And because we have reviewed that, they need to use their misinformation, right? So very quickly, also within 24 hours after his 119 revelation, we saw that from Wuhan, that woman, Li, that virologist, submit the paper to Nature and tell that, oh, this is so similar to a bat virus we found in West China. Remember I told you they found it in East? So she starts to say it's West, it's a mysterious bat cave, which you can search for 100 years, and I bet you cannot find the other family member from this SARS virus. But they told you that. And then that make you feel, oh yeah, it can be from a bat. And China starts to tell you Chinese people eat bat. Yeah, this is the beginning of the story. And we keep reveal all these things from his media. So China has to, it's like playing ping pong, you know? Again. Yeah, so that's why very quickly, people from America, so scientists who help China to cover up, trust me, they are just the tools for Chinese Communist Party, like Fauci, like Desert. They started to help China to spread misinformation. On the top journals like Lancet, they signed the letter said, oh, this is from Nature, my origin is conspiracy. We love China. We love Chinese people, but we don't love Chinese Communist Party. And they won't tell you that if you talk about this from China, you are anti-Asian. But let me tell you that later on, who dare to say you are anti-Asian, tell them you may say it from the Chinese person, the Chinese virologist. Okay, so later on you see what happened. It becomes a pandemic all over the world. And until April, I know that he told me that he warned me I will be disappeared soon. So he managed to help me to escape to America. And because I can tell people in English, not anonymously behind him, in America about the truth. And I trust Americans. I trusted brave Americans will help to stop this pandemic if they know the truth. So I came here, and I'm lucky. So in my 3 reports published last year and this year, which later you can get the link from Dr. Deborah, and also from my Twitter, I list the reasons about why it's from the lab, why it's from the military lab, why it's not made in America. China will make you believe that it's your fault. Okay? No, it's not. Chinese government steal your money, steal your technology, use the weakness of human to manipulate your people and infiltrate to America. That's what they are doing. It's not your fault, it's because they are there manipulating people. And I tell people the misinformation happening in all this pandemic, including they try to push vaccines, they try to suppress early treatment, stop the drugs, which is cheap and safe and useful. Yeah, all this. And remember one thing, in communism, when they try to overcome you, mandate is very important. You always can be separated by any mandate policy, pro or anti-mask, pro or anti-vaccine, pro or anti-booster, pro or anti-children vaccine, all these things, and then you get into chaos. And China sits there watching you. Wow, America goes down. And they spread propaganda to you through TikTok, through Facebook, through mainstream media, saying all these things. They tell you, come to China, see Chinese people laughing, they're happy, and we don't have cases now, and yeah, come to me and you start saying, yeah, our government not good enough, maybe let's try communism. Yeah, that's all happened. You may think your president or your politicians are helping China because China loves them. No. Chinese communism try to treat everyone as tools. They don't love that. They just want to conquer you. They don't love citizens. They don't need citizens. They are developing AI now. But they want your land. They want communism go all over the world. So it turns to the root of the whole pandemic. It's because of evil communism. Because they want remove our faith, remove our love, remove our trust. They want totally ruin all the medical orders, ruin your economic, ruin your social orders, ruin your civilization.
I want to emphasize, because she said this in Pittsburgh at our meeting, they want to remove your face.
Yeah.
They want you to be nameless and faceless. You're just useful eaters. Or useless eaters. Useless eaters.
Useless eaters.
Useless eaters, that's sorry. We're useful. Useless eaters. But I mean, just emphasizing her point. They here, the individual should reign supreme. Again, our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, our Bill of Rights, the individual right, the individual to your body, your choice, the individual to be the right to be an individual. And what they're trying to force here, and many of our corrupted, infiltrated medical technocrats who are in bed with China, are trying to remove your face. You will do what we say. Fear, coercion. And they're using a virus that's manageable to take away your face.
Yes. Thank you for explanation. My expression is not good enough because I have accent. So yes, so they want to remove all these things, and let me tell one thing, that here, when we say amen, or when we say other things about Bible, God, it's very natural, right?
Yeah.
But in China, first, it has to be underground. Second thing is, God has to be loyal to Communist Party. That's their idea. And the third thing is, they brainwash people for almost 100 years to push you to believe that if you believe in God, you are psycho. Yeah, that's very terrible. And I spent so many years to understand what happened around us, and later on when the Hong Kong 2019 pro-democracy protest happened, I see what happened, and my eyes opened. Mr. Moody's broadcast also helped me to deepen my knowledge about this. And when the outbreak come out, I know as a doctor and as a scientist, I must stand out, because if not, I will be regretful in my life. And I want to give people one story about my speech at the end. So yeah, I know so many people ask me, they say, then what can we do? I mean, now we are inside, what can we do? So I tell them, in Hawaii, I told them, you only need two things. One is courage, the other is truth. We are here to provide you evidence and the truth. You only need to be courageous. And the story is, when it was in Hong Kong in Hong Kong protest, young people come out. Young people go out to ask for freedom, for democrats, anti-communism. And the armed army, just suppress them, even kill them, throw them to the sea, throw them out of the building naked, and claim they committed suicide. And one day I saw some very senior people on TV that they are like 70, 80 years old, grandma, grandpa, and some journalists interviewed them. That why do you stay on the front line of the protest? Because when the policy approach, you cannot run away, and they will beat you and hurt you, right? So grandma and grandpa said, yes, we are old now, but when we were young, like 50 years ago, we did nothing to stop communism. We didn't know that. We were cheated, we even helped them. Now they are chasing our kids, all these young people. We didn't help them 50 years ago. Now we want to help them as much as we can. At this moment, we can let the army slow down, they can run away. That's the things they are doing. And now, communism is approaching to you and your children, your grandchildren. And this is very urgent time. We must all stand out, have the courage, tell people the truth. We are the majority. We cannot let them silence us. Thank you. Please talk about the truth.
We have a special guest here. I'd like to welcome to the room Dr. Richard Urso of Houston, Texas.